All right, we're live, y'all. When you come in, let me know if you can hear me on my mic. I feel like it should be fine, but I always get worried that it's gonna people ain't gonna be able to hear me on this for some reason, and so y'all just let me know, help me make sure. So y'all heard okay, so y'all heard that they're coming. Y'all heard about the whole thing with Keith Lee, right? Do y'all know who Keith Lee is? And do y'all know what happened? Do I need to give you the details on this whole story or what? Because I was gonna stay out of it, but then I had seen like what was going on, and I was like, oh, this is a whole thing. Like, this is a whole thing, and I'm not like I haven't been following Keith Lee for very long, but I remember the first video that I saw of Keith Lee, and it was such an exciting video because the video that he stitched himself and he stitched this video, and it was like a year prior, and he talked about how like he was like the breadwinner for his family, and he wasn't getting any matches because he's an MMA fighter. He wasn't getting any matches. And so, or he wasn't able to fight for some reason. Like the matches weren't like, the money wasn't coming in. And he had like $1,200 in his bank account. Good. Okay, so I'm about to give you all the details then, India. So he had about like $1,200 in his bank account, and he's married. He has children. At this point, I don't know if his wife was pregnant yet, but somewhere within that year, his wife was pregnant, had their child, and so it was like a really scary situation. And so he in the video he talked about how like he talked about where they were, like he was super transparent about where they were, and like down to the dollar amount like in his bank account. Okay, like that's how real he was about it. And in the video he also said that this was not going to be that this he was going to go all in on content creation, being a content creator, and he was going to things were going to turn around for their family. So that was like basically like the declaration that he made, right? And that's the beginning of the year. And so within that year, he ended up he's at like 3 million, over 3 million followers now, on TikTok, and he built his platform off of promoting local restaurants. So, and it was like inspired by his wife because his wife had these cravings. And so he was going to the stores, going to the restaurants and trying local foods and rating them. And so it was working for multiple ways. For one, because he was supporting local businesses, and he's basically giving them free publicity, right? And so he would ask people like, what restaurant should I visit next? And so he was giving them an opportunity to like help him to find new places to try out and explore. And it just became this whole like movement of reviving, thank you, Liz, this whole movement of reviving the businesses, like small local businesses in his area. And so it just like he just really like took off, like his career took off. He's getting brand deals and sponsorships and partnerships, and then not only is he doing that, but he's building up the platform for his wife and for his family members. Like his sister is a costume designer. That's where she's moving, basically, like costume designer. Hey, Marion. And so he's become this really like big deal. Like it's so incredible because it like you saw the video, like he was straight up, like the video was not a fake. He came on in the beginning of that year, he was like, this is what I'm going to do for my family, and it has like exceeded, going far beyond like anybody's. I'm well, maybe not their expectations, but it just like really like took off, right? It's this really big thing. And so it's even going to him getting reached out to TV shows and all of these different like streams of revenue that are coming in because he took a chance and went all in on being a content creator. And so his story in and of itself is just like, wow, like that's so inspiring and encouraging for people who also want to make a way for their family and for themselves and really make this like a business and make it so that it leads to generational wealth and multiple streams of income and being able to like provide for your family in a way that is creative and unique to who you are. So that's him. I've talked him up. I've talked him up, right? Hey, Cardi. And so that's who he is. Hey, Antoinette. So we know who Keith Lee is, right? So now there's been this big controversy because there's this woman named, I think her handle is Jilly. She's a TV producer, freelance TV producer. And so the thing that's kind of like ironic about this, not really ironic, but the thing that's interesting is that I found out about Jillian before all of this popped off because I found her because she's a TV producer. So I was like, oh, that's cool. I want to learn, more about like the whole entertainment side of things. Cause I'm just like, I love the entertainment industry, y'all. Like I always said that I was going to be like on a reality TV show. Like I love entertainment. I love TV. I love movies. That's just like my heart. Okay. So if y'all see me on TV, don't be shocked, right? So she comes on and she makes this post, and in the post, she's talking about how there was a certain creator, a beloved creator. Like these are like kind of like the words that she used, almost verbatim. A beloved creator, and that a beloved creator who's a food content creator, right? So it's like all kind of sounding like, now hold up now, like I mean, there's not only one food creator out there, but you're using some words that are kind of like, hold up, who is this, right? And so she says that she pitched a TV show concept to this creator, and the creator decided not to take her pitch. Right, they declined her pitch, but then took it and created it in another way. So like basically like she's saying that they took her idea. And so I'm about to get to it, Madam Leash. Give me a second. I got to build up to it. Okay, we're getting there. So she makes this post and she says all of these things that are like everything, but it sounds like Keith, but she's not using Keith's name, right? And so she makes the video. She puts it out there, and so everybody is in the comments section like, are you talking about Keith? Is that Keith? Oh my goodness, did Keith do that? Right? So now everybody is like, now hold up, wait a minute. Like you're using some words that sound like you're talking about Keith, right? And so she never directly responds and says yes or no to this, to these inquiries, basically. And so it gets kind of out of hand because now everybody's talking about it. They're like tagging him and bringing it up. Like, are you talking about Keith? Are you talking about Keith? Right. And so it's like getting crazy. And so it got to the point where Keith has now caught wind of it. And so he's like, okay, now hold up. Y'all are using my name. Y'all are talking about me. And I need to make sure that like this is not what happened. So he's like trying to come on and clear the air. So he goes and thank you thank you over everything. So he makes a post and he tags her in it. Just to be direct, I guess, like we're not going to play the games around here. Like we're going to directly talk to who we talking to. And so he addresses it and he shows like, receipts about how Jillian did reach out to him, and she did give him she did pitch him an idea that was kind of like diners, drive-ins, and dives, right? If y'all know that show from Food Network. So she gives him this whole concept, and she kind of like takes she takes the idea that he already is utilizing on TikTok, and then she makes it, she shows him how it can basically be taken and turned into a TV show. And so that's the pitch. And so he didn't go through on the pitch with her because he was already had something in the works that was similar to it, because he had some other people pitching to him, right? So he doesn't like take her up on that offer, but he is now producing something similar to that concept. And so he's like, well, when we spoke, this was already in the works. So if you feel like I took your idea, like you feel like I stole it, I really wish they would have just come to me and tell me that. But this was already, happening before you reached out to me. And then he goes on and like explains it, right? And so he does that, and he kind of clears the air. So he's like, I don't know who you're talking about, but I just want to make sure that my name is not dragged through the mud, because people are asking questions, and I want to make sure that they know that that's not me. Like, like he's not trying to be have his name, tarnished, which is understandable, right? So we have that happen, and then the next day, I believe it's the next day, Jillian responds. And so she responds to all of the videos, and the first thing that she says is that this is not an apology. And so I was like, okay. I was a little worried, because I was like, man, I know, like, it wasn't looking good, like you didn't use any names, which I know from a legal standpoint that there may be some reasons why she didn't list the name of the creator that she was talking about. But the concern was that she didn't directly address and say, this is not who I was talking about. So she comes on the video and she says that I was not talking about Keith. And she said that she was not talking about Keith, and that the pitch that she gave him, she confirmed, like, the pitch that I gave him was not a very detailed pitch. She said it was already the idea and the concept that he was already doing. I just gave him the suggestion to make it into a show. So she did clarify that part, right? And then she also expressed her frustration with him for addressing her publicly, because the people who really follow Keith and who are fans of his are now coming onto her page, and it's like she's kind of turned into a villain in this whole situation. And so you saying she's lying? Look, okay, I don't know neither one of these people personally, and I don't I don't want to turn this into who did what, who's lying about what. I'm just letting you know this is what's happened. And so I'm bringing this all up for a reason. So she says that, and so her frustration was she wasn't ready. Her frustration was that these people are now like coming for her like hard, like it's getting intense. And it makes me think about, like, a small caveat, y'all, but it makes me think about, like, how if you talk about like Nicki Minaj, talk about Beyonce, like you gotta be prepared for the smoke. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta be prepared. And so the reason why I brought up her response, whether or not she's telling the truth, I don't know. But what I do know is that it should have been addressed immediately. Like, it should have been addressed, because from what I understand, there were some comments that she responded to that kind of encouraged this idea that it was Keith, and kind of like confirmed it, right? But when she gave her response, she said that there was somebody that she was actually talking about who there was some back and forth and some things going on, like some more dealings that were more in depth. And so it was like she really felt like her idea was taken, which I don't want to take that away from her. But what I will say, though, I will say this now. I do think that there was a part that Let me tread lightly on this one. I feel like the attention the attention was intoxicating until it turned toxic. Okay, I will say that the attention from the post, the attention from the people who were coming into the comment section, and like making the video really popular, I think that was definitely intoxicating, and that may have been like the driving factor in her not addressing it immediately. And I know for a fact, hey Rose, I know for a fact that she was not prepared for Keith to respond to her. Now, y'all, Keith is an MMA fighter. He's a professional confronter. If somebody's trying to talk about me and drag my name through the mud, and you're over here ruining potential opportunities for me to make money, I'm gonna address it too. I don't care who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think that there was anything wrong with that. Now I don't know. I don't believe that she was talking about him, but I do think that the attention like got to her head because like let's be real. Let's be real. You have a post, it goes viral, it feels good until it doesn't, because there's a point where it doesn't, like at all. And so like if I'm posting something and now I'm seeing all these people are like, wait a minute, who are you talking about? All right, now this is getting, let me get the tea on this. Like this is getting messy, like you start to feel like, okay, well, let me let me see what you're talking about. Let me go into this. And so I feel like that's what happened. That's what I feel like happened. And so I bring this up because there's a couple reasons. For one, I just love Keith's story. I love Keith's story so much, and I love it because it is one of those like those rags to riches those rags to riches. Yeah, he's a professional confronter. He's not gonna let you just like, you're not finna just do nothing under his name. Like that's not gonna happen. But he's like, it's so amazing, and it's a movement. Like people support Keith and they don't even have to like Keith. They just like the fact that it is inspiring us to feel like it can happen for us too, And so that's not something that you ever want to be on the wrong side of, especially if you don't have anything of substance. Like don't mess with my hope. Like I feel like the people who are writing for him, they're like, don't mess with my hope. Like this is somebody who is good, who is taking care of their family, who has made it, like who like got it out the mud, and who has built this platform. I believe in this so much, and anybody who tries to like ruin that image and take that down, ain't gonna happen. That's how I saw it. Like, oh no, not Keith. No, not the man who got all of this, who supported all of these businesses, who's helping struggling restaurants get back. Like, exactly. She responded after he said something. And so like, that's just not something you want to be on the wrong side of, like for real. And so, I think that there's even that, like, that speaks a lot to a person's character to even like allow that to fester. Like it shouldn't have festered. It shouldn't have festered. And so that's the first thing. Now, I've seen a lot of people have their different takes on this. Talking about addressing people directly, and confronting people in private. Like not making this a big spectacle. But I honestly think, y'all, that's what happened. I don't think that there was anything there with her and Keith. I think that it just ended up being a lucky mistake and it just went wrong. And so I say that to say this. As we are building our platforms, right? We're making content, and sometimes we can get in a place where we feel like no one's paying attention to us for so long that we think that it's going to be like that forever. And so we start to move and act like people who don't have influence and who don't have power, right? And then all of a sudden, because it only takes one video sometimes. It only takes one video to pop off, to go off, and all these people start to recognize you and know you, and then you recognize the weight of your words. You recognize the weight of your influence, and now you have to move differently. You got to move differently. So if you're somebody who like thrives on being negative and being messy, and you are okay with like it kind of like being your rise being at the demise or the expense of somebody else, that's not gonna fly. Like that's not gonna fly. And so I want us to start to think about ourselves as people of influence, people with impact, people whose words, people whose businesses, people whose platform has power, it has meaning. And we need to start moving with integrity and start moving like people who really want to put out positive things and who want to see people grow in the ways that we are gifted to help them. And so I think that even with her, I don't feel like her intentions were pure. Her motives were pure once she saw it. Even like when we see people tagging into stuff, like I stand on that, and I don't even, like I told y'all, I don't know her from nothing. I don't know her. I only started following her. Hi, Kiana. But it can turn sour really fast. It can turn sour really fast. And so I thought that this was just an interesting turn of events. Because I really do think that she thought that like she was just gonna ride this wave and she was gonna get this attention, and he wasn't gonna say nothing. And he was like, no, actually, I'm going to talk about this because you're not going to take money out of my family's hands. Like you're not going to do that. I've worked too hard for this. And I even thinking like, man, you think about all of the hours and work that we put into creating content. And like, let's not even think about Keith for a second. Let's just think about us. Like everybody that's on here, how many hours go into making a video? How much time do we spend on live talking to people, building relationships, nurturing the people that are in our community? Like how much time and effort goes into building our brands and building up who we are for someone to come and to try to tarnish it? You're going to see a different side of me. Like, I don't know about you, but like, you're going to see a different side of me if I'm putting in all of this work and you are working so hard, or you're maybe not even working hard, but you're trying to violate it or tarnish it for something that's lies. You can't do it. You can't do it. And so I love what Kiana said, because she said, we are our brand. We are our brand. And character is important. Like Rose said, it is important. And so I want us to think, like, take this as an opportunity to really like reflect on our character, on our motives, and how we interact with people and how we operate on these platforms. I love what Mr. James said earlier. When he talks, every time he talks about how make your platform about something. When you come on here, when you're on this platform, when you're talking, when you go live, when you create content, what are you creating it for? I don't know what her motives were, but again, it's just giving messy. It's giving messy. And now she's facing the consequences of it very quickly. Very quickly. And so I want this to be like, it's easy for us to look at people and say, oh, wow, that is, they're a mess, you know? But let's look at ourselves too. Let's look at ourselves. Now, maybe we're not out here producing the same kind of content, but I want you to think about the fact that you are not putting in all of this work for nobody to ever see it. You're doing this because you want people to know who you are and what you do. And when they find you, what do you want them to find? Do you want them to find somebody who's messy, who is negative, who doesn't have focus, who doesn't believe in themselves, who just puts out whatever because they don't think that anybody's watching or paying attention to them? People, like, what do you want them to see? And I'm sorry if like, This may seem like a little bit harsher than what I usually say, but I want you to I have to get you to realize that like you are more important than you think. You are so much more important than what you think, and you may feel frustrated right now and feel like you can put out whatever you want to because nobody's watching you, but I can guarantee you that if you are consistent enough, if you are committed to what you do, people are going to find you. And I want them to find something good, something positive and productive. I want them to see the best version of you. You know, like we found her, and it's so unfortunate, y'all, because I told y'all I started following her before this all popped off. And so when I saw Keith's post and I saw her name, her handle, I was like, oh my goodness, wait, is that the same person that I was following, the producer? And so I saw her before like all of this happened, and now all these people are following her, and they do not like what they see. That's so unfortunate. Like this big debut of you is something negative. People don't want to be associated with you. And this is something that's not just happening on TikTok. Like if you think that this is just only going to affect her on TikTok, you are sorely mistaken. Sorely mistaken. Like this reputation is going to go far beyond this platform. Because people on TikTok are real people. There are people in the entertainment industry looking for creators every single day. They're looking for new faces. They're looking for new people to work with. They're looking for people to give them TV shows. Like, they're looking for us on here. So these people that have seen her, we don't know who they are, what positions they have, what places that they're in. And to see this kind of behavior, who's going to want to work with somebody like that? I don't know him. I felt uncomfortable even following her. Like I was like, oh, like maybe I should. That was cringy. Like maybe I'm following the wrong person for this. That's how serious it is. That's how serious it is to me, because that it was just way too messy. And it got out of hand, and now it has. Teresa said, does she know somebody that does brand damage control? I don't know. I don't know if she my client yet. I'm trying to do my best right now, because I think that this was just a lapse of judgment. It got to her head. I'm gonna say that, but I can't say nothing else, because I don't know her like that. I don't, but. Again, I thought that this was just like a very interesting thing that took off super quickly. So I want y'all to let me know, how do y'all feel? How are y'all feeling right now about your brand? Like, are you feeling like you're somebody? I'll say it that way. Are you feeling like you're somebody? Do you feel like you are all that? And a bag of chips. Like, do you feel like you make content that is worthy of not even worthy, but like, do you feel like you make good quality content? Do you feel like you are someone who is going to make waves and make an impact? Let's see, how much have you spent on ad spend? How much have you spent posted on TikTok? I don't have any experience with ads on TikTok. I'm not a fan of them. The whole like idea of like pay to play is irritating to me, but I do know that you don't want to spend any money on ads until you know who your audience is and you know them really well. Otherwise, you're going to be wasting your money. I've tried to do it like on Instagram, and Facebook, and neither one of them were good. Sade, you said no, not really. You don't feel like you're somebody. I'm paraphrasing, but okay. That's very interesting. Let's see, Hardy, I feel like I'm stepping into that arena now. Well, trying to. Well, I feel like you already stepped into it. You've already stepped into it. Now, whether you are where you want to be, I guess that's a pretty different like conversation. But do y'all feel like y'all have platforms that make an impact? Do you realize that you are somebody that makes an impact? Because I think that that is at the heart of it. That's what I believe she underestimated, and she didn't. Her opportunity to show her impact was fumbled. Yes, you do. Okay, good. So, all right. So here's two things. First thing is that if you do not feel like you are somebody who makes an impact, why do you feel like that? You don't have to answer that in this if that's going to take you some time, but I want you to think about that. I want you to think about, why do I feel like I'm someone who does not make an impact? Is it because of how many followers I have or don't have? Is it because every time I try to make content or go live, I don't get likes, I don't get engagement? Is it because I don't really know who I am or what I want to talk about or what I want to do? I don't feel like I have like an audience yet, or a brand just yet. Okay, good, India. I loved your video, by the way, on the books that you posted on YouTube. I love that. Yeah, so think about those things, because what happens, which is again going to tie into our friend Jilly, or maybe she's not your friend, but to Jillian, okay, is that what can happen is when we underestimate our impact, it is usually because of certain metrics, right? Maybe we've been doing something for so long, we've been creating content for so long, and it feels like people are not like rocking with us, they're not resonating with what we do. There's like this insecurity that we have because the numbers aren't matching up with the passion, or we feel like we're just kind of like making content that doesn't it's just not like resonating and sticking with us like the way that we need it to. And so all of that, when we have those insecurities, something like going viral can feed those insecurities. And when our insecurities are fed, the best version of us does not come out, y'all. Like, it just doesn't, especially when we don't recognize that it's there. So like, we get that attention, we get that validation, and all of a sudden we are out here acting messy. And that's what I want us to like realize from this, is that it is so easy for us to get out of character when our insecurities go unchecked. Okay? Especially our insecurities around our brands, around content creation. And so this is a very important moment for us to, while we are where we are right now, where some of us may not be as visible as we want to be just yet, which again, you never know who's watching you. It don't matter how many followers you got, you never know who's in your followers. But while we are in this place, in this safe space where we can learn and make mistakes, let's think about what those insecurities are. Why do we feel like we don't make an impact? Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is that if you are somebody who feels like you make an impact, how are you feeling about the responsibility that comes with that? Are you running from the responsibility? Are you up for the challenge? Are you feeling like, okay, maybe I can do it? Even if you don't feel like it all the time, is it something that you're willing to do? Is it something you're willing to try? Or are you finding yourself running from the responsibility? Because that's also something that happens too. And it can still cause us problems. And I'll tell you what those problems are in a second, but I want to see y'all comments. So let's see. So India said that she feels a boost of confidence every time she shows up. I love it. I love that so much, especially because you're so consistent on YouTube. Cardi, you said that I haven't found a great sense of who I am. I'm talking to, I haven't found my crowd. Okay. I feel like in Discord today, though, I felt something there. Did you feel something? Like, your post got a lot of engagement. I was really happy to see so many people show up and respond to you. So Yeah, I don't know. I felt like it was something there. Like it's a thing. I actually got to talk to you about something because I want to know if you are up for a responsibility. Because that made me think about it. I was like, oh man, I like this. I like this. Antoinette, you said I do better on lives. My content is just mostly dances and sounds due to not being sure what to talk about. Okay, yes, and you have been very vocal about that. So I'm glad that you recognize that. Cardi says sometimes I feel like I don't have much support, just all over the place. Okay. Um, let's see. I used to want to go viral until one of my most dumbest videos went viral, and I was like, I quit. That happens too. I had a video about Game of Thrones to go viral, and I was like, why Game of Thrones? That has nothing to do with anything else. And Sade, you said it's really just because you're starting out. Okay, and that is fine. That is fine. So it's a not knowing who your people are yet and what your brand is just yet. So that's good. That is perfectly fine. No matter where you are with the questions, though, I want you to be encouraged and know that you can still, you can make changes. So no matter where you are on this, we don't have to just take our insecurities and just like let them be there. Like we can work on them. So no matter where you are with it, I don't want you to feel like condemned or ashamed of it. You can improve, but you have to know what you're working with first. So you got to recognize where I am, what my problem is, so that you can find a solution to it. That's the only reason why I'm asking. So no matter where you are with the questions, don't let shame trick you. Okay, you do not have to feel ashamed at all. India says, when I feel like running, I remind myself that I'm showing up for God. That is so good. I actually told myself that before I pressed live. Believe it or not, y'all, I just about every live I gotta talk to God and be like, all right, now I'm doing this for you and your people, because I don't feel like it. I don't want to get on here and talk to anybody, not because I don't love y'all, but because I just don't be feeling like talking sometimes. But every time, every single time, I got to pray for the strength. I know I need to do more lives. India, I'm so glad you brought that up. Okay, so that just reminded me. I'm glad that y'all are saying this. So if you are a part of the Discord, which a lot of y'all are, I told y'all that we are going to have a visibility challenge. So it's going to be 7 days. We're going to be putting out content for 7 days. It can be live. It can be lives, or it can be pre-recorded content, but it's 7 days being consistent with our posting. So this came up because there are a lot of people who either feel like they don't know what their brand is. They are struggling with being consistent with their content, which is a branding issue. And they want to find their people. They want to find their audience, right? Maybe you know who you want to talk to, but they're not talking back to you just yet. It's probably because they don't see you and they don't trust you, because you're not showing up. And I'm not talking about showing up every day all the time, but the reason why we're doing 7 days this time is because it's going to build up that muscle of I need to show up. Okay, so it's going to be a visibility challenge. The challenge itself is going to be free. You have to be in Discord to get access to it. I had to make sure that's how I'm setting it up. You got to be in Discord to get access to it, because there's going to be a channel over there dedicated to the challenge, and we're going to be on there. We're going to be supporting one another. We're going to be posting our videos for accountability. We're going to be showing up for each other's lives. We're going to be commenting on each other's posts. We're going to be encouraging and even sharing it with people. Well, it's going to give us an opportunity to really see who we have, see everybody's gifts and talents, and to feel like we're not doing this by ourselves. So the challenge is going to be coming up. Oh, y'all, it's next week. Oh my gosh, it's next week. I'm worried because I got to set up the stuff for it. I have a guide that's gonna go with it. Yeah, Monday. Monday. Yes, we're gonna have a session on Sunday, and we're gonna have like a little, like a powwow, and we're gonna prepare ourselves for it. But it's coming up on Monday. It has to be Monday. I wanted to try to push it back, but God was like, nah. So we're gonna do it on Monday. So, and if that scares you, I have a guide. Now the guide is not free. The challenge itself is free. The guide is not. You can still do it without the guide. I want to make sure that you know that. But the guide is going to help you to plan out the content so that you feel more confident with showing up every day. Especially if you're somebody who's like, I don't even know the first video to make. That's going to be, you're going to want the guide. I'm playing with the price. I think I'm going to do 17. I think it's going to be 17. So it's not going to be crazy. But the guide has a lot of good stuff in it, and you'll be able to use this for your content just in general. I'm going to walk you through all of the different types of videos you can make. You're going to have a little planner on there so that you can plan out the videos you're going to record or the lives you're going to do. And you're going to even figure out which route you should go, whether you should do live videos, whether you should do pre-recorded, because both of them have like their benefits and both of them have like their challenges. So you get to choose how you want to do it, or if you want to do a mix. I'm more of a just go live girl because I don't want to edit or like do a bunch of extra stuff. But with lives, it's got stuff to it. I'm gonna tell y'all, just make sure you're there on Sunday. We're gonna go live and talk about it on Sunday. That's most likely gonna be on YouTube. So if you're in Discord, you don't have to worry about it. I'm gonna put out a reminder. India's gonna put out a reminder because she's our moderator, and so you're gonna be all set for it. So we're gonna go in there, talk about how we feel about it. You can yell at me and tell me that you're upset. You can do whatever you want to on Sunday, but we're starting on Monday. So the guide is going to have all of this information on there, some tips for recording your videos, and I even want to do that's why I need y'all help. So I need you to tell me what concerns you have with being consistent and making video. Okay, what concerns do you have? Because that's going to help me cater the guide and the challenge to you even more. So y'all let me know. You can let me know in Discord, or you can let me know now what your concerns are with going live, and that'll help me to add anything extra to the guide to help you out. You batch content, good, but then you should be in a good spot then. Batching content, this is going to help you batch content. So that'll be, if that's a concern and you don't know how to do that, that's going to be in there. Yes, it's very good for times when you can't be consistent. It's going to have different video ideas. It's going to break down how to do different types of videos. There's even going to be a section on there where I talk about how to like get started when you don't know what topics to talk about. And I think that you said that too, Antoinette, that you don't know what to talk about when you go on camera. You don't know what to talk about, so that's why you do the dances. So it can even help with that. So knowing like what topics to talk about, knowing what questions people have, things like that is going to help you out too. And then I'm even going to make it so that you can figure out how to get your people to engage with you more, because engagement is my specialty. I don't know what it is, y'all, but like I can get some engagement. I may not always go viral, but I'm going to get engagement. Okay, people are going to talk. So that is going to be in there too, because engagement is like engagement is currency. Like that tells you what you need to know about your people. It helps you build relationships with them. Like it matters so much more than going viral. And I'm gonna show y'all what I'm talking about too, because that's the whole thing. But they're gonna have that on there as well. And then having a space to plan out your content. And so giving you an idea of what to expect, what to think about when you make it, so that it is clear you feel more confident creating it. And then it also has a focus. So like that's the last part to it, is that some of us, we are good at making content, but our content doesn't have a direction. So we can be consistent and we can show up, but it doesn't like lead anybody to anything at all. Like it's not telling the story. People don't know what you do. They don't know what to go to you for. They don't know why they like you. They just like you, which is cool. Like if people like you, that's a really good start. But if you have a business, it's not going to help if you don't have a business. Like if you have a business, you need people to know where to go. So, oh, thank you, CJ. So you got to make sure that your content has a focus. So we're going to have that too. So we're going to be going for 7 days, but it's not just going to be us posting all willy-nilly and just trying to figure out, what sticks. It's going to have a direction and a purpose, and the purpose is going to be for whatever we want to promote for ourselves, for our brand, and for our businesses. So that's going to all be in there too. Actually, as I'm saying that, I'm gonna make sure I put that down, because there's going to be a part where you write down your goals on the guide. So all of that's going to be on there. We're starting on Monday. Free to join. If you want the guide's going to be $17. I'm going to just stick to that price. But it's going to have so much good stuff on there. I really want you to not skip out on the guide. I really don't want you to. I really don't want you to. Okay. I just feel like it's going to be so helpful to have you have the visuals to making content. But either way, you can join the challenge. I want you there. And then I see Sade said, just making sure I'm confident in myself to make good content. No self-doubt. Yes, that's going to all be, we're going to address all of those things. The last part of it is that while you are going live, I'm doing the challenge with you. So this is not just me telling you what to do. We're doing this challenge together. And so this challenge, so that y'all know I'm being transparent and kind of like giving you an opportunity to hold me accountable too, is that this challenge is for me to build myself as a brand outfitter. Because if y'all have been following me for a while, you know that that's something that I have tried to run from. Like I have tried to run from this responsibility. I have tried to run from this call because I didn't feel qualified to do it. I was like, I didn't go to school for this. I shouldn't be telling people how to do this. Like, I don't know. I'm just good at it, y'all. Like I didn't go to school to learn this stuff. I'm just good at what I do. And so I felt a way about that. And so I had all of these excuses last year for why I didn't want to accept this responsibility. But I can't do that no more. I'm tired of running. I want to be able to say it confidently and boldly that this is who I am and this is what I do. And so that takes consistently showing up, consistently being like, here's content about this. Here's me showing that I know what I'm talking about. Here's me interviewing people and doing live interviews and showing how branding works. Like really just being consistent and showing up. So every video that I make for this week, I'm going to be on YouTube because YouTube is my focus right now. I'm going to be going live on there. And so you're more than welcome to join me. I would love to have you as I go live, and you'll see that I will be covering these topics. So if you are feeling insecure about your branding at all, if there's anything that's not clear, that's what my content's going to be about. So that that's my goal. So my goal is to be strong with my branding and my content, branding myself as a brand outfitter. And then it is going to also be, my other goal is to make sure that I have, I didn't put a number on it, but I'll think about that. There may not be, but I just want to see people show up consistently. I want to be able to say at the end of this that somebody was like, I feel so much more confident in myself, and I feel so much more prepared to be consistent with my brand because I did this challenge. So those are my goals. Those are my 2 goals. If I have a third, I'll tell y'all on Sunday, but those are mine. So I really want us to get what God has for us. And I'm going to end it with that. I really want us to get it because so many of us spent last year confused. We spent last year running. Hello. We spent last year wondering why we didn't get the things that we put on our vision boards and the things that we prayed for. And a part of that is just because we didn't commit ourselves to it. Let's just be honest. We didn't commit ourselves to it. We was out here running. She's a track star. We was going, okay, up like smoke, running from accountability, running from responsibility. Like we were up. And so, we don't, let's not make this year like last year. Like the promise is still the promise, but we gotta be obedient. We gotta work it. So this is going to be our way of showing God, like, I can do this. I believe in what you put inside of me. I believe what you told me is mine because you told me it's mine. You are my Father. You will not lie to me. You will not lead me astray. So I'm going to trust you. I'm going to take these steps. I'm going to post these videos. I'm going to go live. I'm going to talk to your people because I know that whatever it is that you have for me is going to be on the other side of my obedience. Antoinette said it's more of a light jog. Yeah, whatever it is, it's not the right direction. whatever we was doing, we was going the wrong way. Yes, busy but not productive. Yes, and that's the thing that's so interesting, y'all, is that you will find that you don't have to hustle. We don't have to grind for the things that God has for us. We just got to do what he told us to do. That's it. So if he's telling you, I want you to be consistent, okay, what do I need to do to be consistent? How do I show up? Because once you do it, your people are going to be there. And then you don't have an excuse because I'm going to tell you what you can do to make content. And I'm going to tell you how to make it. So like, what excuse? Excuse where? Confuse where? Not with me. Okay. I don't do confusion. I don't do none of that. Okay. I got the solution. We got it. We're going to do this. We're going to make it happen. So that's what's coming up. If you're just coming in, I'm talking about the visibility challenge that I have coming up. 7 days showing up on someone's platform. We're doing it consistently and, we're doing it together. So I'm super excited, y'all. Like, as much stuff as I was talking earlier, I am really excited because I know this is going to be like that step for you to see, oh, wait a minute, I can do this. I do got something. I am somebody. So I'm really hyped for it. So make sure you're there. Sunday, we're going to do our powwow. We're going to plan for it. We're going to get it going. If you know somebody who has a business or has a brand, they're a content creator, they're an influencer, even like coaches are influencers too. I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say it because nobody else is telling y'all. Coaches are influencers too. So if you are a coach, you are also an influencer by default. Okay? Sorry, not sorry. You should be there too. If you are struggling with any of that, or if you are just getting started and you want to have some direction, you want to get started on the right foot, then this is going to be the challenge for you. Challenge is going to be free. The guide is going to be $17, which is going to give you even more details on how to create your content. But whatever you choose, still come, okay? Still show up. And we'll get all the details there. Any questions that you have, things like that, we'll get it going over there. And if for all of the details, make sure you're in Discord. There's going to be a channel. I'm gonna let y'all know the channel's already created, but I'll post something in there so that there's some content in there for you to look at. But there's going to be a channel dedicated to this, so we'll discuss this even further over there. You can put your questions over there too. All right, y'all. So that's it. I love y'all, and I thank y'all for showing up for yourselves today, for just engaging in this conversation. And that's it. If I say anything else, I'm gonna cry, because today has been a day. But yes, I'm excited. I will see y'all on Sunday. Actually, before we go, y'all, before we go, I want us to pray. I want us to pray. Um, okay, so we have no idea what it takes for people to show up. We have no idea. We have no idea what they are going through behind the scenes. And even if they share, you just can't really fathom how they're feeling. And so this is going to be for me, and it's going to be for anybody else who is still showing up even with life just being tough and like kind of like sending like unexpected punches because they feel like punches, because it doesn't take away from the promise. So yeah, actually, before I say that, before I do the prayer, I want you to think about for this challenge that your transparency and your vulnerability is a superpower. I was thinking about this video that I saw. Thank y'all. Thank you. I see your comments. I'm just trying to make sure I don't get derailed. But I saw this video, this podcast, and this man was talking. He was talking through like a really recent heartbreak, and like it was fresh, y'all. Like he had just went through it like a week prior, and he recorded content and he still showed up anyway. And the amount of people who like showed up to support him and who said like, you processing this helped me process it too. I was going through the same thing. Like it was so powerful, and it was more powerful than any guest he ever had on his show, or any any other topic that he talked about, because he was willing to invite people into a moment that was potentially embarrassing and was tough for him to talk about, but it was not just for him. And so with this visibility challenge, I know that we can get really excited about the business side of things and the marketing and positioning ourselves as experts and all of the stuff that people tell us to do. But I want to encourage you in this to be willing to not be perfect and to not have it all together, and to be vulnerable with people. Be vulnerable to the extent that you feel comfortable. I mean, be challenged a little bit, but not to the point where it's like be detrimental to your health, your well-being. But just be open to that, because that's who I am. Y'all done seen me cry multiple times now, and I will cry. Like, I'm gonna cry. That's just who I am. I'm gonna cry, and I don't hold my tears back or apologize for them. I don't. So, but I just know, like, that's just how God uses me. And I've seen the power in it, because what it does
is it removes the shame, it removes the embarrassment, it removes the weight that you might be holding on to, thinking that this is something that I should never share or talk about because of what it looks like. So just be mindful of that too, and definitely be praying for me. Definitely be praying for me. It just feels like it gets harder to show up the more you say yes. And it's just a lot of days where it's like, I don't want to. Like, I just don't. But I know that I need to. And I would much rather be doing that than anything else. Because I know that it's important. So the topic is going in many different places, y'all. But yeah. Speaking on the grief and loss in all the different ways that it happens, everything that that we lose, it is so important to be willing to share that. We were talking about the things that people go through behind the scenes, and how challenging, you never know what people are going through or how much it takes for people to show up. And so it is because it's something personal going on with me. It's like literally happening right now. So it was just hard. So I had to come on here a little bit earlier, because if I tried to wait, I don't think I would have showed up, y'all. I'm just gonna be real with you. I don't think I would have came on here. So I even told India, I was like, God, I gotta do it now, because y'all might not see me. I'm gonna just slowly slide away and duck off. So yes. So that's what I want to pray for. And let this be like a cautionary tale that when you say yes, that's when the fight starts. That's when the challenges come up. That's when you have things like people making videos saying that you stole their ideas. That's when the attacks come and the slander and all of that stuff, but it doesn't take away from the fact that you still got to show up. That you still have something to do. You still have work to do. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. We are going to pray for the strength to show up in everything that we are experiencing, every challenge that we have. Praying for that too. And then I'm going to go and watch TV. Yes. Activate the job in you. Yes, y'all. Yes. So, yeah, I don't want that to go unnoticed. I don't want that to go unaddressed. That is like, if you showed up in spite of everything that's going on in your life, I see you. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for showing up. So, yes. All right, y'all. Let's do this so we can go ahead and go. I'm gonna text you. I'm gonna text you, cuzzy. Okay. Dear Father, we thank you so much for your presence. We thank you that no matter where we go or what we do, you are always there. And we thank you, God, that you have put something special inside of each and every person that is on this live right now. We thank you for what you have placed inside of Cardi, what you have placed inside of Sade, inside of India, inside of Antoinette, inside of Marseille. I thank you for what you've placed inside of Evanor. I thank you, Lord, that each person that has shown up, even the people who are no longer on the live, every person that has passed through, you have given them a special purpose. You have given them something unique, and you have given them a promise. And so we thank you that the promise is still the promise. It is not void, that it is still yes, and that you are giving us the opportunity to get it right. You're giving us the opportunity to follow your steps, to follow the strategy that you have for each and every one of us, so that we can be good stewards of the dreams that you have placed in our hearts. So we thank you for every person's voice. We bless their voice right now. We bless their sleep right now. We bless their homes right now. We bless every financial circumstance that they may be going through, Father. We thank you that everything that you have for them is blessed. In the name of Jesus, that no attack on their lives will prosper, and that you will give them the strength to show up consistently for the dreams that you have placed in them. We thank you that businesses are going to prosper, brands are going to flourish because of this moment right now. For them saying yes, there is going to be such an amazing reward for their obedience. So we thank you that everything that we do, everything that we say, every relationship that we have managed well, has not been in vain. We thank you that you see every tear that we cry. We thank you that you are there to comfort us, to help us, and that you are sending the people and the resources that we need to make it happen. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, y'all. I'll talk to you later.